Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakakwadash. I'd like to give double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone that rule well. And I want to say peace and salutations to the elect of the nation of Israel. To you all, I say Shalom. This is your brother Mayaka Allah coming back to you once again with, Lord willing, a lesson that's edifying to the flock of Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. And as news came out recently, you see on the screen, George Foreman, former heavyweight boxing champion, perishes or gives up the ghost at 76, right? And one of the things you notice when you see headlines like this, that is an instant red flag, in my opinion. Is they don't say how he perished, right? Usually they have an excuse or they have a reasoning to why people perish. But recently, since within the past 5 years, a new phenomenon has gone out called dying suddenly, right? So they don't tell you how people perish sometimes, depending on the cause, man. Because this is a former heavyweight champion of the world, a former world-class athlete, right? So his body, even though he was older, 76, really isn't that old, right? Even though scripture talks about a man's days or flesh is about 100 years. So he was 25 or 24 years short of turning 100. Doesn't mean he's supposed to turn 100, but 76 is relatively young for a world-class athlete. Because you'll go to Publix or a supermarket during the daytime, you'll see a bunch of 90-year-olds, 80-year-olds walking around, driving cars. Right, so why is a world-class athlete perishing at 76? First and foremost, in my personal opinion, speaking as a man, since it doesn't say that how he perished, more than likely it may be because of a heart issue. All right, his heart must have gave out, and why did his heart give out? It's because he trusted his enemy, man. All right, and this is a screenshot I took from a page called the Duke of Memes. And every time a celebrity perishes, he'll gather the evidence of them taking the jump shot and then make a meme about it. Right, so from the UT Health Houston, which I believe is a hospital, says former heavyweight and Olympic champion George Foreman is ready to knock out the C. Today he teamed up with the UT Health and the UT physicians and took the jump shot, and to help overcome fear of taking the jump shot reluctancy, right? And he's here flexing and posing, like, yeah, I took it, right? So this, when you see a person like this, they've been a sellout, man. Especially when they're on the world stage. It doesn't matter what position they are. When they're on the world stage, they are a sellout. So you should never be following them in any position. They're only set up to get 2/3 to follow them, man. They want Jake to follow them blindly and do whatever they do. This way, they could convince mass people, to turn away from the Lord, man. When you go to the book, so lucky my internet's acting up, so it might take a while to load. Exodus 23:2, thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil, neither shalt thou speak in a cause to decline after many to wrest judgment. Right? You shouldn't just be following people blindly, especially if they're doing wickedness, man. And taking the jump shot is wickedness, man. Because first and foremost, you're injecting foreign substances into your body, right? Not knowing what it is. They never told you exactly what was in it. So you could be injected anything. Right? The former insulin jump shot, I think back in the 90s, it was based off of pig kidney cells, man. Right? So you were injecting swine into you, thinking you were combating diabetes, but really you're just going off. All right. Right, and the cure for a lot of so-called diseases, man, is fasting and prayer, man. The scriptures tell you that. All right, fasting and prayer will cure a lot of diseases, man. But people can't put down the swine. People refuse to put down the shellfish, the pork, right? So the Lord judges them by destroying their body, man. The scripture says, as the way a man sins, the same shall he be punished, roughly paraphrasing. All right, so when you defile your temple is going to basically self-destruct, right? You got to, it's just like a physical, literal building. You got to maintain that building so it can remain in top shape. Right? Sometimes you're going to have to stabilize the roof, repair the roof, fix the plumbing, repair the foundation. You're going to have to do these things or else your building will collapse. When you eat defiled foods, your building's going to self-destruct, man. All right? It's basically suicide. All right? And also, he helped push his so-called George Foreman grills, which are convenient. George Foreman grills are convenient, but they're coated with that poisonous Teflon. And Teflon contains PFAs, which are known as forever chemicals. And they're called forever chemicals because your body can't break them down once they're inside you. So every time you cook a small, microscopic pieces of, forever chemicals get into your system. Right? This is why everybody they've ever tested for, let's say, microplastics in their blood, they found microplastics in their blood, man. Because your body can't break that down. Plastic doesn't break down, man. It does eventually, but it takes hundreds of years, man. All right? So if nature can't break it down, your body's not going to be breaking it down either, man. All right? It says heavyweight champ G. Foreman, so I don't know why I said it like that, rolls up his sleeve to get the CV in Texas. All right? Now, news is coming out. George Foreman, American boxing legend and entrepreneur, died suddenly at 76, man. Now you might just say to yourself, "Oh, 76 is an old age. He probably died of old age." All right, so why don't they say that? Why don't they say, "Oh, he gave the ghost of old age"? No, because they don't want you to know the true cause, man. And you really haven't seen him in the spotlight like that, even though he's an older man, right? Probably taking it low, but you ever seen him in the spotlight? A lot of these older celebrities are still doing anything they can to remain in the spotlight. You see, like Samuel L. Jackson's probably the same age as this guy. He'll still coon out and do things like that. And this man always been a coon, and I say that because, hey, shaved face and shaved head, man. All right, he loves that image because with that image he gets propelled into the spotlight, so he never gave it up, man. All right, he sold out, man. Oh, let me go to the book real quick. Well, I just showed that to show proof that he did take it. The book of Hosea. And I remember seeing a video back on BitChute saying the life expectancy of people that took the jump shot is 5 to 7 years, man. And he took it. It was January 2021. All right, so 4 years ago, man, which is right on point with the lifespan expectancy. It might be shorter because he's older, all right, but nonetheless. And a lot of people that did take it, the Lord spared them and gave them a placebo, right? A lot of people, the Lord spared and gave them a placebo, man, all right? Because if everybody that took it, give the ghost, then there'll be worldwide outrage, right? Even though there should be worldwide outrage, even if only 10% of the people that took it give up the ghost, man, there should be worldwide outrage. But because it was forced, in a way, it was forced upon the people, man. They were threatened with losing their livelihood, so the people took it. Oh, you won't be able to work. You won't be able to see your loved ones. You can do this, do that. You can't play sports unless you take it. So people were coerced into taking it. Coercion is more of the word. It wasn't really forced, right? Because the MOTB is going to be forced, right? Or it's going to be not forced where they're not going to tie you down and force it into you, but it's going to be like, hey, you won't be able to buy or sell unless you take it. Which the jump shot was, which I was speaking for code because of YouTube. The jump shot was a way to show people, or to basically prepare people for what's coming after, man. All right. And Slakia. I also seen this article too, but this article's back from 2021 or 2022, It says anti-V nurse who injected up to 8,600 elderly patients with salt water instead of C19 walks free from court in Germany. Right, so this nurse, instead of giving people the true jab, she gave people saline shots, which saline is safe, right? Saline is basically salt water, like I said. So she gave them saline shots, and she was persecuted, and basically they took her to trial. But now she walks free, or she walked free, right? Because really, the Lord spared those 8,600 people, man, by letting this woman be their nurse. But at the same time, they were playing with fire by trusting Esau and lining up to take that shit, man. All right, you should have never been in this position in the first place, all right? But elderly people aren't always wise, man. All right, Scripture talks about how the elder sometimes the elderly people doesn't understand judgment, right? Actually, let me see if I can find that real quick. Because a lot of elderly people, they just go along to get along, right? But once they realize how everything in life was a scam, they grow old and bitter, and this is why you see them, saying anything they want, because they were always told from a youth, "Oh, be nice, you do this, do that, do that." When they realize everything's a lie, they're able to speak their mind. Truly, I'm not justifying it, because sometimes they'll be out of pocket, right? Some older people be way out of pocket, man, and they think just because they're older that judgment won't happen to them. Hey, but judgment doesn't disregard or doesn't disregard age. Doesn't matter if you're old or young, man. Pursuant to Ezekiel 9. All right, but this is the book of Job, chapter 32, and verse 9. Great men are not always wise, neither do the aged understand judgment. All right, great men aren't always wise, and this is considered a great man. George Foreman is considered a great man. Probably 1 out of every 5 houses in Babylon has a George Foreman grill inside of them, man. All right, I know I used to have one, and I used it when the black was peeling off, man, destroying myself, man. For what? For convenience, all right? And this is what the C19 was set up to do, man. Too, was to get people uncomfortable and to coerce them and say, "Hey, you want to go back to normal? You want your convenience back? Just take this jump shot." And a lot of people took it, man. And a lot of people gave up the ghost because of it. All right. But if you did take it, Lord willing, you repented from that. And the thing to do is to cleanse your blood the best way possible, man. Because you don't know what the hell they put into you. Those talks about graphene oxide inside of them. Well, graphene oxide is programmable, and it's controllable, man. All right. The best thing to do is to cleanse your blood by doing detoxes, heavy metal detoxes. Certain minerals to help boost your liver, like milk thistle, because your liver, is a cleansing agent, or basically a garbage can. Take herbs to boost your kidneys, right? Do actions to help empty out your lymph nodes, right? Because your lymph nodes is another circulatory system that collects the waste and the garbage of your body, man. All right, but a lot of people, they block their lymph nodes or the excess of their lymph nodes by doing what? They put on deodorant with aluminum in it, right? And that aluminum blocks the pores of your underarms, so your body can't drain properly of the waste that it collects, man. All right, but this is Hosea chapter 9, verse 1. Rejoice not, O Israel, for joy as other people, for thou hast gone a whoring from thy power. Thou hast loved the reward upon every corn floor. Right? This is the thing. Jake has gone a whoring with every other nation, every other idolatry, every other idol, every other doctrine. Right? Jake is aligned to that besides Yahweh Shem Yahushai. 2/3 especially, man. All right? And just like a whore will take on any client as long as they're paying. Right? Jake will take on any doctrine, man, as long as they can eat. Right? And there's a doctrine where you can eat swine. Jake will follow that, man. This is why so many of our people love Christianity. I heard a brother say, I think the elder from Orlando, he was like, Christianity is like fentanyl, man. once you're hooked on it, there's no getting off it till you perish, man. Christianity is the fentanyl that destroyed our people, man. And nonetheless, and just like a whore, when you see a whore or a prostitute and you see their clientele, it'll make you sick to your stomach. A lot of these women out there you think are so bad and beautiful, if you knew the men they dealt with in their past, it will turn you off in an instant, man. Because just scripture says a woman will receive every man, Jake will receive every doctrine, man. All right, Hosea 9:2, the floor and the winepress shall not feed them, and the new wine shall fail in her. All right, it's gonna come a time where a famine is gonna happen, and the doctrine they've been following isn't gonna be able to feed them, right? But Yahweh Shem Shai always feeds his elect, always feeds, just like it says in the book of Psalms, he has not seen the seed of the righteous begging for bread, right? It's because they're following Yahweh Shem Shai. You out there following Allah, following Buddha, following this and that, agnostic, whatever, Christianity, your ass is going to starve, man. In the spiritual famine and the literal famine, man. All right? Verse 3, they shall not dwell in the Lord's land, but Ephraim shall return to Egypt, and they shall eat unclean things in Assyria. And this is what's happened. Our people were put into captivity, and now we're really forced to eat unclean things, right? It's impossible to eat 100% clean, man. It's impossible. I seen a post the other day. It said, it's impossible to be 100% vegan, because if you're eating organic fruits, those organic fruits are fed or fertilized with shrimp meal, right? Which shrimp is an unclean food. So they're fertilizing so-called clean foods, which would be fruits and vegetables, You're allowed to eat that. Pursuant to the book of Genesis, every herb-bearing seed shall be meat unto you. All right? So you're taking clean food and defiling it by feeding it with shrimp, man. All right? And you are what you eat. So if it's organic and you're feeding it with shrimp, man, and that shit's defiled, man. So, and this is the place that we're in. Esau Edom has defiled everything that he touches, and he's the head of everything right now. Right? This is why he has to be taken out of rulership, right? Because if he doesn't get taken out of rulership, no flesh will survive, man. Pursuant to the book of Matthew 24. All right? This is why the days are being shortened. But nonetheless, we're not eating unclean things in the land of our captivity because we went off and disobeyed our power, man. We had, we made a deal, and we need to keep our part of the deal, so the Lord is destroying us for it. It's locked. I didn't see the border on the screen. All right. Nonetheless, I'm going to go to the book of Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus, chapter 38. Ecclesiasticus 38:1. Honor a physician with the honor due unto him for the uses which ye may have of him, for the Lord hath created him. For of the Most High cometh healing, and he shall receive honor of the King. Right? The Most High comes healing, man. And that's the gift, the Lord gave our bodies, man. The ability to even though health doesn't come from us, just like we just read, from the Most High comes healing. But health does come within, man. Right? Your immune system really truly begins in your bowels, in your gut. And this is why when you eat defiled foods, you get sick, right? And this is why they give you things like jump shots. Because the jump shots bypasses your immune system. It goes directly into your bloodstream, man. And then it's harder for your body to fight that off, right? Because it basically assimilates with your body and defiles your temple, man. Right? I remember talking to my mother a couple of years ago, and she said she regretted ever giving me jump shots growing up, man. But we all drink that Babylonian wine. We all were deceived. We all were lied to. It's now that we know better, we have to do better. Because these niggas in the world, these scientists, these mad scientists, wearing these white coats, they call themselves doctors. That's what they are. They truly are doctors, man. They're falsifiers. They take drugs, so-called medicines, right? And they take the true herb, and they doctor it, and give you so-called. They take the true medicine, they doctor it, and they give you drugs, And these drugs come with side effects. And these side effects sometimes are worse than the actual symptom that brought you to the doctor in the first place, man. These niggas are wicked, man. They're all sellouts, too. They're all sellouts. They all take an oath, right? Just like Freemasons take an oath. Doctors take an oath, too, man. Right? And they're slaves to the so-called almighty dollar, right? They'll do anything to get rich because they're in great debt. You leave medical school with $500,000 of debt. Now you do anything to make that back, man. All right. Verse 3, the skill of the physician shall lift up his head, and in his sight of great men he shall be in admiration. All right. And that's a true man of medicine, a physician, right? A true healer. A doctor is like you could doctor documents. You falsify documents. A doctor is a really a scam artist, man. A true man of healing is a physician, man. The word doctor isn't in the scriptures, as far as I don't think it's in the scriptures at all. But as far as healing goes, doctor isn't in the scriptures. Let me see if I can prove that. Yeah, this is. Oh, see, a doctor of the law. Really, there's no doctor of medicine in the scriptures. All right, Acts 5:34. Then there stood there up one in the council, a Pharisee named Gamaliel, a doctor of the law, had in reputation among all the people, and commanded to put the apostles forth a little space. Right, a doctor of the law, man, and not a doctor of medicine. Actually, let me go into that word doctor in Acts 5:34. Nomo did ask, nom od id askalos.
Strong's G 3547. Namadidaskalos. Namadidaskalos.
A teacher and interpreter of the law among the Jews, of those among Christians, went about as champions and interpreters of the Mosaic law. All right. All right. So, yeah, it has nothing to do with medicine. All right, but nonetheless, let me go back to Sirach or Ecclesiastes 38. Verse 3 again, the skill of the physician shall lift up his head, and in the sight of great men he shall be in admiration. The Lord hath created medicines out of the earth, and he that is wise will not abhor them. Right? So if you're worried about the C-19 and all that, worried about the flu, worried about catching a cold, you shouldn't be taking anything that didn't come out of the earth, man. That wasn't grown out of the earth. That isn't natural, man. All right? Because that's what true medicine is. True medicine doesn't have side effects. And if it does, it's not a side effect of the medicine. It's a side effect of it actually working. Like sometimes you'll take certain things and you'll get aches and pains. That's not aches and pains from the actual medicine. That's aches and pains of it actually combating and fighting maybe the infection or the symptoms that you having, man. All right, because demons won't leave without a fight, man. And a lot of these so-called diseases are really spirits, man. There's spirits in damn near everything, man. There's spirits in the clothes you wear. Certain clothes have spirit on it. That's why the scripture tells us not to mix fabric. Right? Certain foods have spirits on it too. All right, this is why the Lord tells us not to eat certain things, man. Certain items have spirits on it. This is why not everything is for every man. You gotta understand your spirit and understand the spirits around you, man. All right, this is a spiritual. We are at spiritual war, right? And if you don't win this spiritual war, you will die in the literal war, man. And that literal war will be World War III. And in World War III, the Lord's going to rain nuclear missiles and nuclear warheads upon America, man. All right, the Lord's going to destroy this place with 200 million thermonuclear warheads and burn this place, right? So bad that nobody will ever live here again. And here I'm talking about America, man. But this is your judgment when you trust your enemy, man. Actually, let me get that real quick. And nobody's gonna care when you perish because you trust the enemy. You were warned not to, man, but you didn't care. You love shaving your head. You love shaving your beard. You love the spotlight. You love poisoning people by selling toxic grills, man. You love that shit, man. Nobody's gonna care when you grew up the ghost, man. Nobody's gonna truly mourn for you. Right? You were wicked as hell, man. The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 12 and verse 10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is its wickedness. Right? If you shave your head or you shave your beard, and you're a chocolate covered Edomite, man, because you're doing that to look like him, man. Right? That was his custom. Growing up, watching TV back in like the '90s and stuff. You see commercials and businessmen. They always shave their face, right? Gillette commercials and shit like that, making you think like it was the manly thing to do. No, you're feminizing yourself. You're making yourself look like a woman, making yourself look like an Edomite, right? You sold up for the bag, and now the enemy bit you. The serpent bit you. Now you give up the ghost. You couldn't handle his venom, man. Your heart couldn't handle his venom. If he perished from heart condition, which I'm willing to bet he did, since they didn't say how he perished. All right, Ecclesiasticus chapter 12 verse 11. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hadst wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away. Set him not by thee, lest when he hath overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at the last remember my words and be pricked therewith. A lot of our people, they trust their enemy, right? They trust the wicked. They trust Esau Edom, the so-called white man. Right? There's like organizations like the NAACP, which were so-called allegedly set up to protect so-called black people. What do? They put Esau and Amalek at the heads of them, man. All right, and then when their leaders get overthrown, who starts running it? Esau and Amalek, which are the same nation. But what they do, they use that organization to weaponize themselves against Jake, man. All right, so when you see organizations like BLM, Black Lives Matter, NAACP, those are really covert, infiltrated organizations to keep Jake destroyed, man. They'll never do anything to truly help you, man. But since you trust in your enemy, you were bitten by the serpent. Verse 13, who will pity a charmer that is bitten with the serpents, or any such come nigh wild beast? Hey, you're in the forest playing with bears and tigers. You ain't King David. Nobody's gonna pity you when you do. He shred you to pieces, man. All right. Nobody's gonna pity you when you chilling with an Edomite and they turn their back on you. You see stories all the time where one story that comes to mind is where a so-called black woman was at a sleepover with like 7 so-called white women. All right. And I say so-called because more than likely they were Edomites, but some of them could have been Jake too. But nonetheless, the next morning, she's perished, or she gave the ghost. I think they found her body, downstairs outside of a balcony, like she jumped off or was pushed off or something, man. She gave up the ghost, and I don't think any of them went to prison, man. All right, but she trusted her enemy, and she was trying to be buddy with her enemy, and she got bitten by the serpent. Nobody's gonna feel sorry for you, man. It's like you see stories where so-called black guy or Jake ends up paying child support, a huge amount of money, or going through a divorce. Huge amounts of money or alimony has to be paid. And you read the comments, you'll see nigger women in the comments. Hey, he chose the woman. That's his problem. Ain't my battle. He got to deal with it. Shit like that. Well, if they're an Edomite, then they're right. He chose the enemy, man. But a lot of those times, those women are Jake, because Scripture talks about how light cleavers are alike. Hey, but sometimes a woman will front with you. A lot of times, actually, I'm not gonna say sometimes. A lot of times, a woman will front to like you if she thinks that you have something or will eventually have something, man. They'll use you for status and clout and position in society. This is why you see a lot of so-called white women cleave to college athletes, man. They're trying to secure the bag, as they say. All right, but this is our people, man. This is our people. They trust. They trust in oppression. They trust in the chariots of Esau. They trust in the chariots of Pharaoh because they are mighty and strong. But what does that get you at the end? It leaves you confounded. It leaves you not knowing what to do next. Because, hey, you trusted an idol. And the scripture talks about how all they that trust in idols are confounded. Isaiah 31, woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord Yahweh, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin, right? Hey, George Foreman, perfect example of adding sin to sin. Shaving your beard or shaving your head, sin. Sin. Scripture says it in the law, right? And then you go in and injecting yourself with that poison, and then showing everybody that you did to convince other people to do it too. More sin, man. You adding sin to sin, man. Rebellious child, man. All right. Verse 2, that walk down to Egypt and have not acted on my mouth to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh and to trust in the shadow of Egypt, right? You trusted in Esau's technology, right? Because that shit wasn't medicine. That shit is technology, right? Whatever they did to that shit, man, that's technological, man. I'm not saying there's microchips in it, right? Because the true microchip is coming with Revelation 13 and 16, where it's going to be the MOTB, which will be the RFID chip, right? But that was a foreshadowing into what's coming, man. And you trusted in them. And he left you confounded. Verse 3, therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust and the shadow of Egypt your confusion. Now, before you give up the ghost, you probably were dealing with years of heart issues, man. Nobody knows. You know, he wasn't like a super public figure where he was posting every day and doing like that. Even these super public figures, they're not going to show you the trials and tribulations they're going through, man. Right? Because a lot of them that did take it, they're going through it now, man. And some people, they talk about it like, oh, man, I got this and that, right? But they're not going to truly mention the things that they're really going with. And the next thing that was going to happen, man, is a so-called weight loss drug. Let's start with an O, the OZ, the Dr. Oz, right? Rumor has it that Esau was testing that shit back in the 90s. And back in the 90s, they knew how it caused the big C, right? So you're going to see a wave of people saying that they have the C, right? The so-called incurable C, right? Because of the combination of the Dr. Oz and the jump shot, man, right? And they're going to blame those two things. Or they're not going to blame those two things. They're going to blame some other shit, man. Oh, bird flu, this and that, right? Esau tells you the truth without telling you the truth. And sometimes the truth can be seen by them keeping silent. Like, for instance, them keeping silent about how George Foreman perished really tells me that he perished from a heart issue, man. And that's just me speaking as a man. I don't know for sure, right? But I'm assuming that he did, all right? You know, and it's me speaking as a man. Assumptions can be wrong. But one thing that's never wrong is the words of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. And you trusted your enemy, you're going to regret it at the end of the day. But I'm going to wrap it up with that. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Again, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakwakadash. I want to give double honor to the elders and the apostles, the great millstone, the Ruel. And I want to say peace and salutations to the elect of the nation of Israel. Until next time, I want to say shalom and a ball.